Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
I am that dude, Bodkins. Patty to patty. It's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy. Give a big round of applause for the one and only BodkinShow. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another great episode of the Bodkins Show. I am that dude, Bodkins, of course, as always. Welcome. Obviously, we didn't do a show last Sunday night for the simple fact I just wanted to watch my Packers lose in misery and drink myself into oblivion. If you missed, I had my initial thoughts. If you missed any of those, check out last Sunday night football wrap-up with Rob Logan and my guy, Johnny Cruz. They did let me come on the air right afterwards, so I bared my soul, bared my life, what my initial thoughts were that season and game. Obviously, you've been knowing, if you've been following us for a while, you know I buried the team, hopped back on board, and like an old spurned ex, she burnt me one more time. So, if you want to catch any of that stuff, please check that out. Remember, this past week, if you missed it, did the weekly wrap-up on Thursday, and plus Johnny and Craig joined me Thursday night as well, and we talked all things NFL. For the most part, broke all the playoff games, talked about all the firings, coaches movings, firings, all that good stuff. But now, folks, it is Sunday night, and we're going back. I know you're used to the old reaction show, but we are going back to this nice little intimate one-on-one interview style. And let's dim the lights, folks. Set the mood, because tonight's guest is none other than We're Just Fans podcast. Give it up for a big welcome, Poppy and Rios. Welcome, boys. Welcome again. Welcome to the Bodkin Show. I appreciate y'all joining me. It has been, it's a pleasure. First things first, I love the name. We're Just Fans. So let's start there. How the hell did y'all come up with that? Was that a Deshaun Watson playoff, pun? Because he just has fans out there and doing some things. Are you guys booking the same masseuse as where he's getting his from? I mean, go ahead.
Where's him K-scale? So no.
So if you notice that we're missing one guy, that's probably where he's at, to be honest.
He's at the masseuse parlor with Deshaun.
Deshaun's third cousin, maybe, but
I heard he lives in A-Leaf, so probably.
No, it's funny. Like, so before we had a name where it was, Talking Texan. That was the original name of the podcast, and we had, as a group, we discussed like, man, they kind of limits us a little bit. It's like we know more than just the Texans. Like we have. Especially me and Poppy here, like we have interests outside of the Texans, so we like, you know what? Maybe we should expand it and go beyond that. And so we came with we're just fans, basically.
Yeah, imagine just being a Texans fan. I don't think I could bear.
Hold on. Oh, sorry about that.
Is that you? Okay, I thought it was.
That's me. That's me. My daughter's calling me on her messenger, and it like popped up on my computer and everything else. So I thought it was me.
Oh, hold on.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Hey, yeah. So
we thought I did kind of with us a little bit, like especially me and Bobby, like we're basketball fans, we're college football fans, college basketball fans. Like we have, international sports fans. Like we have interests outside of the Texans. So let's expand a little bit, because it kind of limits us. You just talk about the Texans, because come on, we're not Massachusetts. Like we have experiences outside of that terrible fandom with the Texans.
Yeah, definitely. So originally, the podcast, Carlos was the one who started it, and I think he might have done at least a good 10 episodes on his own. and that's what he called it, Texan talking or whatever it was, because it was just him really talking, talking Texans. He was talking some Astros as well.
Talking to himself, basically.
Yeah. So he eventually invited me over to because every time me and him see each other, we always talking sports. We always talking Texans, Astros. He doesn't know much about basketball or anything at all, really. But so we don't really talk Rockets. But then he decided, he was like, I mean, if you want, you can come over, we can hang out, talk some sports, and just record it. And we did that for a while, and we eventually found Rio's in the corner asking for money.
Was he on the side of the road hitchhiking, or how was that?
He was on the side of the road just begging for money or something.
Money.
Oh,
hey, he's still wearing the old Oilers stuff. And you're like, hey, man, that team moved a long time ago. And
you can't get over it. You can't get over it.
Look, next year, Texans wearing these colors.
Who cares? Who cares? We're still gonna be like 0-17. Who cares?
We're gonna be 2-15.
How? Okay, explain to me how we're gonna get Bryce Young. Do the math for me.
Hey, we'll get to those questions later. We'll get to those questions later, Poppy. We'll get to the questions later.
Because
so we got to figure out how the three of y'all tandemed up to create this. You said you guys found Poppy or found Rios on the side of the road. And what happened after that?
So, once he came in, we all basically clicked pretty fast. Like Rio says, he doesn't just like football. He's a basketball fan, college football fan. We all love soccer. So like we're always talking sports, and it just so happens that we're all basically raised here in Houston. So we all love the Texans. We all love the Astros, Rockets. So like we can talk about it for hours, man. And we've been to a few games, all in separate occasions and whatnot. And we just like drinking beer and talking sports, man. Like we just love it.
Right. Amen to that. Amen to that. Who don't love that? Who don't love that? Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, the Texans are a relatively young franchise. They came in 2000, 99, was it 2000 or was it even 2002, right? Yep. So from when the Oilers left to 2002, you guys are kind of you guys about the same age as I am. So there wasn't a team. Did you go with the Texans? Houston was like, hey, we'll come back if there's ever a team to see with the Oilers, and then they became the Titans. Or what team was you guys kind of watching or rooting for when there was no Texans?
So I'm a little older than Poppy. So I'm 30. I'm gonna be 39 this year. So when they left in '96, I gave up on football. Like I stopped watching. Basically 4 years, I just stopped watching football. Like. Maybe the Super Bowl I watched, but for the most part, I just gave up football. I got focused solely on basketball at that point.
And the Rockets were worth watching at that point in time too. So
they were. So it made it worth it. But then they got older. Like Jordan retired, and then Hakeem and all the guys that we grew up watching got older and left. I'm like, it kind of sucked. But in 2000, when they said, "Hey, we're getting football back," cool. I'm like, so when we get a team? Oh, in 2 years? I can wait 2 years. I mean, I waited 4 years to this point. 2 years not that long. So he's kind of, stood by and just, watch games here and there. But, trust me, that first game in 2002, I was all in at that point.
That's when they played the Cowboys and upset the Cowboys the very first game of the year. I remember that. Yeah.
As much as I hate Dallas, that just brought just joy to my soul. Watching Cowboys of all teams, I can die happy now.
I just want to say, the fuck the Cowboys.
Hey, go ahead. Hey,
as far as me, I didn't really start watching like football till around 2011. Like Rio said, I'm a bit younger than him and the other guy. But
a lot younger.
A lot younger, maybe a lot younger.
Hey, you gotta have that generational bridge in for your show. It just makes good good stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. I got the younger reach, right?
Yeah.
He was just a twinkle in his daddy's eye.
Yeah. When the Texans first became a team, I was 7 years old. So yeah.
7 or 7 months.
So
Give or take, same thing.
They're the
same
only
thing.
team you've known. That's the only team you've known.
Basically,
for the most part. Yeah.
when I moved to Houston, I was watching a little bit of the Rockets. I love baseball. Like where I'm from Venezuela. Baseball is like the main sport, so I love baseball. So immediately,
it's bad over there.
Yeah,
hey, my guy Wilson Contreras used to be a big Cub. From,
I love it, man. I love
hey.
it. Like, and my dad would tell me like stories of like all the Venezuelan baseball players that came to America and actually did great things, right?
Yeah.
So I immediately like was a fan of the Astros, even though they were pretty crappy.
Oh yeah. Sure.
The Rockets, kind of like Rio said, they were okay. They weren't really competitive, but they weren't like complete trash. But the Texans were like a non-factor for me. It wasn't until like around 2011, and we talked about it in our last show. Pretty much around the same time that JJ got drafted. That's basically when the fandom started, and I've been keeping up with them since then. I started out as a casual, bit more diehard as years went on, as I started to understand the game. Because let me tell you, first time I watched a football game, I was like, I have no idea what's going on, but I like it. You know what I'm saying?
¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué es esto?
Because there's 300-pound men running at each other full force, and I have no idea who's on offense or defense. I'm loving every second of it, So now that I understand it a little bit more, I'm a great fan, and I actually went to a preseason game with Carlos last year, like before this season, when we played the Saints. And can I also say, fuck the Saints, please?
Hey, not only because Tanner actually said in here when the Texans left, you could have been okay with would have been okay for Saints for a temporary team. So I guess not for you, but
no.
That's so generational hatred right there.
I got beef.
Why the hatred for the Saints?
My ex was a Saints fan. So
hey, they're good enough for me. That's all you had to say.
Fuck the Saints. Fuck them.
That's all you had to say right there.
And anyway,
lifetime hatred. Same
yeah,
here.
it's the Saints, Cowboys, Raiders, and Titans. Those are my 4 that I
absolutely hate. Now it's a trio here. Oh my gosh, what a pleasure. It's a full-on fledged gangbang here with the Just Fans here. Man, Carlos, welcome. We were just saying glowing things about you.
Oh yeah, I bet they were. I bet they were. I told them I was probably not going to make it, but I was like, you know what? We're on our way back home, so let's do this. I'm on my way back home. My girlfriend's driving. Love you, hon. She flicked me off. She flicked me off. We're good.
Tell her I say hi.
Your brother says hi.
Hi, brother.
She says she also.
Are you guys? It's real. That's your real. He's dating your sister.
That's my sister. Yeah.
No, I date a puppy sister.
Yeah.
Oh, is that how you guys met, or you guys were already?
Hola, fea. Hola, fea.
So,
basically, how ugly she is.
So me and Carlos know each other for
keep it PG-13, hon.
No, you can keep it R-rated here, just not X-rated.
Oh yeah.
No, so it's kind of funny. So me and Carlos met. Oh man,
like 45 years ago, right?
Basically. I was 16. He was like 14. Like we met at church, apparently.
You guys used to go to church. Holy crap!
Can we stop saying that?
I didn't know that. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, it was about 20 plus years ago. We met at church. So it's funny. It's like me, him, and my brother's best friend. We all met at church at the same time, and we all clicked. And we've been.
You met your brother at church? Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
What?
Carry on.
So you guys met at church, and then he's the little brother. So then he falls in love with the sister. You guys, just to be nice, ask the brother-in-law to join the show.
Not even that.
Much like The Hangover, right? He's Alan in The Hangover, and you guys just got to bring him on to be nice.
Not on the table, Carlos.
No, so basically, like me, my brother, and Carlos, and our other friend Alonzo, we all met basically at the same time, 16 plus years, almost 20 years ago. It's a church, and we all clicked, and we've been lifelong friends since.
Yeah.
They went to camp.
Unfortunately.
And then they went to church camp together.
Yes. No,
man.
it was bad. Like, no, so Rios, we ended up playing soccer also, like for an indoor team. We weren't good. We were just, doing it to try
You guys
to stay
got
active.
together on the bench, knew each other, just chopping
Exactly.
it up on the
We
bench.
were bench warmers.
Bench warmers.
Hey, you guys. Hey, that's where the podcast originally started. You guys were announcing the games as the players were going.
All we did was talk mess about the players, even though we couldn't play.
In British accents.
Isn't that what we all do?
Yeah, that's how the podcast starts. Some are athletes and some are podcast / bench warmers, and here we are.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that.
With British accents.
So we were, Carlos, right before you chopped on, we were kind of talking about you guys' fandom a little bit, and like, what did you do when the Oilers were there and then they left, and that, like, who was your team, and then like, what did you hop right back onto the Texan bandwagon?
So I've actually been pretty open about this. I used to be since I was raised in Northern California before I moved to Houston. I used to be a Raiders fan.
Fuck the Raiders.
Okay.
Because it was every time I say the Raiders, I have to say that.
Boo that man.
Yeah, because in California, well, you're in that part of California where we are, they don't really have a team. It's you have to either choose between the 49ers and the Raiders at that time. Nobody cared about San Diego. And so it was one of those things. So we ended up going for the Raiders. So it's like almost like half that city is 49er fans, and then the other part is Raider fans. So I went to I became a Raider fan, and a friend of mine that went to school had like a birthday party, and he took a bunch of us, including myself, over to where the Oakland A's play now, the Coliseum. And so it was back when like they had the half baseball field and football field. Does that make sense? Like, and so you would see, and so I got to go to my very first football game there at the to see the Raiders play, and I don't remember anything. I just remember a bunch of drunk people like yelling at stuff.
That sounds like a Raider game.
Typical Raider fan. Typical Raider fan.
Go on.
Yeah. And so, I mean, after that, I was like, okay, that's American football, I guess. And so, long story, I never really went until then. I moved to Houston in like '97, and like the Oilers had already left to to Tennessee. And so I didn't get much football. So all we did was watch like the Astros, like the '97 Astros, '98, '99, you name it.
Yeah, the Biggio, Bagwell, and them
Bagwell,
boys.
Yeah. And so that's what I kind of kept watching until I think I was in middle school when they announced that Houston was getting a team, and they had done like a survey with the fans asking them, hey, what would you like our team name to be? And some people said the Apollos, the Stallions, the Bobcats. Like they had they were apparently the Stallions was kind of close, but they already had like the Colts and the Broncos. And so they were like, too many horses.
Too many horses. Get out of here.
Too many horses. Too many different names for horses.
I prefer Stallions.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie though. Out of all those names, the one that I liked was the Apollos. Apollos seemed kind of cool though.
Hey, that's right. Hey, they just said that's that. Hey, Rocky 3 is going to be the entrance to every fucking only in America.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah. And so then the Texans like started coming in, and they suck me, everything still to this day. But like I became a Texan fan in 2011. But that ever since 2011, I've been riding with the Texans, excuse me. But I've been an Astros fan longer. But other than that, I didn't really have much of the Oilers experience. I think Rios had more of an Oilers experience than I did because he's so old. He saw Bum Phillip in his glory days.
I played with Earl Campbell,
Warren Moon, and them boys out there.
He knew Earl Campbell back when you were in UT. Like
I played with him in Pop Warner.
Yeah.
He was there before they were allowed to throw the ball.
Who was I was thinking the Houston Rios used to block for the Houston Pony Express down there at Houston University.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy. So I started watching football. I was like maybe like. So, I grew up with my grandma. She didn't speak English. I didn't watch much sports. when I moved with my mom when I was like 6, that's when I started, being more Americanized. And the first thing I saw was the oldest football game. They were playing against the Saints. Coincidentally, that's the first football game I ever saw. Like,
Who won?
I was very confused. I
Who
never
won?
seen 34 just running over people like that guy's like a fucking train, like rolling over people, like. And then I learned, oh, that's Earl Campbell. Okay, it's Tyler Rose. Like I learned more and more as I got older. Like, oh man, yeah, it was pretty cool. Like I had no idea what's going on, but like I just remember number 34 just running over the other team, like no one could stop that guy. It was pretty cool, man.
Let's get into this year. Let's get into the Texans and what they should do next. Third time in 3 seasons, we're looking for a new head coach. So let's start there before we get into the draft. So we'll just kind of go around the room here, and we'll give you guys each who you think the next, head coach of Houston should be. Go ahead, Poppy. First? Give me your thoughts on Lovie Smith, in the game 17 and winning, and then who your next head coach should be.
So as far as Lovey, man, I feel like out of all 3 of us, I was the one that had the most hope, if you want to say. I was very optimistic coming into the season. Carlos, you might want to mute your mic because
I'm unmuted. I got him.
Okay, gotcha. Because I can hear every single.
Yeah, I can hear it too.
Yeah. Lovey was like I had hope. I didn't have like high expectations. But only what was it? 3 wins and a tie and like 29 losses. Felt like I feel like it was all around disappointment. I was honestly, because of, I feel like we had a good draft last year, and I feel like the team actually is played worse than it probably could have. I was kind of expecting Lovey to stay another year. But given how the last game of the season went, where and I was talking to the guys about it, and I was very upset and confused about it. It's like it was all within our control to get the number 1 pick, because there's one thing this team needs before a coach, before anything else, that it's a quarterback. Because Mills, and even though I was a Mills, like I wouldn't say a stand, but like a defender, almost like it's only year 2. Give him a full year, see what he can do. He didn't do shit.
Thumbs down, no. Sir.
Yeah, but I was like, let's be optimistic. Let's back our guy. Next man up type of thing. But we knew as a franchise, as fandom, we knew that we needed a quarterback, and the fact that we had it right there.
You didn't know. I knew.
Hey, that's that young naiveness.
I think we about 4 games to be like, yeah, this is not the guy.
I was this last year. No, please, God, no, not this man. Please, anyone else.
But listen. The fact that we won that last game, when we've been losing all year long, and we had no reason of winning this last game.
That was Lovey's revenge for getting fired.
Right? You know what? Right? I was happy that he got the boot after that, because it's ridiculous. It makes no sense. I'm getting aggravated. I don't want to talk about it.
Who should be their next? If you were the, I guess, is it Nick Caserio still the GM, right?
Yeah.
If you were Nick Caserio, who you hiring for your next head coach? Because you got to think, you screw up this time, you're probably out the door too.
I'm gonna be honest.
I've been saying it since last year. This is his last year.
I'm gonna be honest. I think I couldn't do worse. Like I feel like I would either win more than 3 games or guarantee us the number 1 pick. I would do one of those 2 things right. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, honestly, as far as who should take it, and I was telling the guys this last week when we were talking about it. At the end of the day, that's like the least of my worries, because I'll tell you why. Because
one, honestly,
I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't matter who we hire. we need a quarterback. We need a guy who's gonna take the franchise.
You got to have a coach that can develop that quarterback, no matter
but
who
if
it is.
if we have like Lovie Smith with an amazing quarterback, could have won more than 3 games. You know what I'm saying? Rios disagrees, but
go ahead, Rios.
Go for it.
What's your thoughts on this past year with Lovey, and then we'll tell me who should be the next head coach.
So look at Lovey's last 2 tenures as a coach with the Bears and with Illinois. Not just losing record, just abysmal.
Wasn't he in Tampa too? He did 1 year in Tampa, I think, right? If I remember.
No,
Tampa too, just like his defense.
Yeah.
No, but his last 2 tenures was with the Bears and with Illinois. Not just losing, abysmal losing record. Like
not with the Bears so much. The Bears, he won 10 games and still got fired. He just couldn't beat the Packers.
But I mean, overall, it was pretty bad. And Illinois also.
I would have taken 10 games this season.
Right.
Illinois. Nobody wins at Illinois.
Well, basically, he got the job because so last year the Texans, they wanted to hire Josh McCown, guy with the same amount of coaching experience as the 3 of us combined.
Yeah, the 4 of us. Yeah.
But Brian Flores is going to sue the NFL for that exact same reason. We can't get his fair shake while these guys with no experience, get a job. And like, oh, maybe this isn't the best hire. So let's, who's next? Oh, we got a black guy on the staff. Hey, Lovey, I got you, man. I'll take the job. That's basically how he got hired.
The funny thing is that's exactly how that conversation
That is kind of how it went down. It is kind of
the Office meme where Michael Scott's shaking the hand of the boss when he has a long mullet. We're all confused. Huh? I got the job. That's basically what happened, and that's how we got Lovey. And I will say he did a good job of getting guys prepared, but he knew he was fired week 18. Man, you know what? I'm gonna get fired. You know what? 2 middle fingers to the front office before I walk out. We're gonna not just make a competitive game. We're gonna win, and win at the last minute. So
so it hurts a little bit more.
Middle fingers to everyone in the front office, and that's where we're at right now.
And helped out his former franchise, the Bears.
He's a Bear for life.
I think he was an inside man the whole time.
I wouldn't doubt it. So as far as where we go now, like my number 1 pick would be D'Amico, just because look what he's done with that Niners defense. They've always had good players, but
and he's a former Texan, right? He played with y'all.
He didn't leave in the best of terms, but you know what? I think money talks, and you pay him enough. And I mean, look what he's done with that Niners defense. Sure, they have elite playmakers, but man, he's a leader of men. I'm a big proponent of coaching makes a difference. Look at the Giants with Dabble. Look at the Bills when they got a new coach. Look at the Eagles.
But
you get the right guy in place. It starts with coaching. You get the right coach in place. That guy at top, he inspires everybody. You're ready to run through a brick wall for that guy.
Wouldn't you want a more offensive-minded coach, though?
It doesn't matter because he knows he's played for winning organizations, the Eagles and the Niners. He knows, what? I might be the head coach, but you know what? I need the right coordinators. I need the right staff. He's going to bring the right guys in place to, play the role. He's not going to be trying to be he's not going to be like Bill O'Brien.
You think a Mike Vrabel type, he's going to be like a Mike Vrabel type, he's going to be like the rah, and then also let me go get some guys that know what kind of call plays.
Let me get the football guys. You know what? I know what I got to do to inspire my boys, but you know what? I need this guy to run the offense, this guy run the defense, this guy run special teams, blah, blah, blah. He's going to bring the right staff in place, and he's a football guy. He knows, it can't be you can't be Bill O'Brien. You can't be Bill Belichick. That doesn't work. You got to have the right guys to run each, specific section of the team. Because no one can do it all. No one can do it
on every level.
Who's
the Eagles offensive coordinator?
Yeah, that would be a good hire. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he's a hot candidate.
I think from what I saw from the Texans Twitter account, they were gonna interview him, and they were
Yeah,
gonna interview.
they have, yeah.
I
I
believe
think it's
the
Shane Steichen or something like that. Shane Steichen.
I believe so. Yeah, I think you're right, Carlos. And I think they were gonna
Johnson,
the Lions offensive coordinator as well, if I'm not
Ben
mistaken.
Johnson.
Yeah.
I'd rather have
So
Ben Johnson, honestly, than the Eagles coordinator.
yeah, like honestly, that wouldn't be a bad pick. I just don't want because Lovey specialized on defense, and at the beginning of the year, that was like the one thing that we could say at the end of the game. You know, we play good defense. Like we lost, but we play good defense. The offense still young; they're still trying to figure it out. But the defense, you know, all these rookies look pretty solid. You know, as the season went on, that became less so. But I just need a complete change. If we're gonna get somebody, I just need somebody who is like completely different from Lovey. I don't want to focus on defense. Like I want a good young quarterback that's gonna take the franchise somewhere, and I want to put some weapons around them, build a good old line, and you know, in 3 to 4 years, actually be competitive.
Not even. You get the right QB in 2 years.
Yeah, but we're not gonna get the right QB, are we?
We'll get to that in just a minute. Carlos, what about you? What's your thoughts on Lovey this past year, and then who's your next head coach?
So I thought I'm gonna agree with Rios on the fact that I think Lovey got chosen because he was the guy that was already there for the Texans. Like I don't think they were trying to keep Lovey long term. I think he was like the guy right now. Like nobody when they hired David Culley at the very beginning, nobody thought, oh, this is David Culley's going to be the guy that's going to run the Texans for a long time.
Then why not keep David Culley last year? Like that's the thing, you know what I mean? Right. Like if that's I think that was my thing. Like,
right?
If you knew Lovey probably wasn't going to be their long term answer, and neither was Dave. I don't think you were right to me. Like I don't think anybody thought. Right. You know what? Dave Culley's the guy.
No, he was running.
They might have 2 years and then fire him this year.
He was the wide receivers coach for the Ravens, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And so with David Culley, like we all knew, like you said, he wasn't a long-term guy. I think he was a guy that you were trying to hire a head coach and then it didn't work out. So you're like, okay, let me get David Culley. Then when David Culley didn't work out, you basically use the guy as a scapegoat. You know what I mean? And now we're trying to hire other guys. We're trying to let's interview Brian Flores, and then at the same time, Jack Easterby was really a big proponent of getting Josh McCown. Like I've always said, if they would have hired Josh McCown, it would have been a worse situation than Jeff Saturday's. You know, but Lovey was like they thought of Lovey. I was like, oh wait, Lovey's here. Why don't we just use him as our head coach? But if you really thought about that, like you would have automatically assumed Lovey was the guy. Like there would have been no doubt, because the way that the Texans explained it afterwards in their statement was like, we saw a guy here that fits the potential. I was like, no, you didn't. You saw Lovey Smith that was there. You're trying to use him as a transition coach.
Who's that guy in the back? Who's that guy in the back? Just give him a job.
Who's that old black guy with the gray beard? Oh, that's Lovey Smith. Oh, he take his team to a Super Bowl like 10 years ago. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He could be our coach. At least we could say we got a guy who took a team to a Super Bowl.
The Texans said if he can take
let's hire a black guy that's right over there. Oh, we're good now. We're good now.
The Texans said, hey, if Lovey Smith can take a below average quarterback to the Super Bowl, why doesn't he take our below average quarterback to the Super Bowl? He can do that for them. If he can do it with Rex Grossman, he can do it with
anybody, right? If he can do it with Rex, he can do it with anybody.
Yeah. And so I think Lovey played his role played the role that the Texans wanted him to play, a transitionary coach. I think in Lovey's mind, he wanted to stay longer with the organization. However, I feel like that last Texans game against the Colts, you can tell the Colts weren't trying. They know what they weren't trying. They were tanking just like the Texans were supposed to tank. But that message at the end, like Rio said, the two big middle fingers to the organization was going for two at the very end of the drive, at that last drive. There was no way that you hadn't basically done that almost all year. And then what are the odds that when it counted, you did it, and then you executed it perfectly. Davis Mills, majority of the time, can't even make that throw in the red zone. We had one of the worst red zone offenses in the league this year, and somehow, suddenly he makes it to a tight end, which we barely use. Like, to begin with, we use our tight ends as blockers to try to give Davis Mills those 20 seconds that he needs in order to make a bad throw to Brandon
Cooks throw to the floor.
Yeah, to the floor. And one of those, like, you use your tight end and you score a touchdown. Like, that to me was Lovey saying, all right, because I think they had met previously with Cal McNair like a week or two before to discuss his future. I'm sure
they were meeting up prior to the weekend, yeah.
Right. And I'm pretty sure Cal told them we're gonna move away from you at the end of the season. Right. So I'm sure Lovey was like, okay, bye. And let's
should have been like, we'll give you 10 more years. Yeah. Just don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah. And so for me, who I really think would help, like, say if hypothetically, let's say if the Bears really fall in love with an edge rusher, let's say they take either Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. Let's say if for some reason they really decide to go that way, right? And the Texans get to choose a QB in the draft. Let's say they take Bryce, right? In a best case scenario. I think the guy that could develop Bryce Young in this case would be the Eagles OC.
Jalen Hurts. Yeah.
I mean, look at what he's done with Jalen Hurts. Well, I think Jalen Hurts I'm sure he's a big part of what has happened with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, I had him in my fantasy team this year. My goodness. There was not a game that went by that I wasn't getting 30 to 40 points. Jalen Hurts is the reason why I got so far in fantasy, because usually I suck. But I got fourth, I got like fourth place this year in the playoffs. So, and the only reason I lost was because Jalen Hurts got hurt. So that's the main reason. And honestly, I think if he can do that with Jalen Hurts, I'm excited to see if we choose Bryce Young or even CJ. I want to see what he's able to do with a young quarterback as a head coach. But I do agree with Rios. I think, or no, if it wasn't Rios, I'm sorry, I think it was Papi when he said each coach has to be in their own perspective positions, because this year even Lovie Smith had. Was it you? Okay, sorry. One of you. I don't listen to you. No,
I'll take the credit. I'll take it.
Yeah, Papi will take the credit. Yeah, because this year Lovie Smith was head coaching and also was handling defense. Like, it's like you're obviously not devoting your entire time to the one thing, and that's I don't think that's the right way to go. I'm not a pro or anything, but I don't think that's the right way to go. Us men aren't good at multitasking.
That. Hey, that's Deshaun.
Yeah. That's
how Hank Logan fruit, man. I'll hit it every time.
There you go. It's I don't know. That's my thought on it. I'm really thinking of either the Lions, OC or Shane. So, yeah, from the Eagles. Those are my top two. Don't get me wrong. I like D'Amico. But I've said this before. I think the city of Houston, Rios might not agree with me, but I don't care. The city of Houston, I think they like D'Amico because it's a player that used to play. I think it's more of the emotion. And I think if you go with D'Amico, if you were to go with D'Amico, you would definitely need to have a really good OC, a really good, because D'Amico is just like Lovie Smith in the way that they're both defensive-minded coaches. Now, again, yes, I get defense. We're in Super Bowls. I've heard the saying before, but
we gotta get there first.
But we gotta get there first. So I
didn't even won a playoff game in your franchise history.
Exactly. And so if you're gonna get a rookie quarterback, you need somebody who's gonna help them develop first. That's your first step moving forward.
With D'Amico, he's not like Lovey. He's not set in his ways. He's adaptable. He's learning to adapt.
Yeah, but let me tell you this though. Like, okay, let's look at the coach for the Dolphins. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now.
Brian Flores?
No, the right now the coach.
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel. Thank you. You saw what he did. I mean, the Dolphins had a third string quarterback.
Yeah.
They almost won this game today.
How far did they? I mean. Yeah, we thought it was going to be a blowout, but the Dolphins kept coming back.
A lot of that I credit to their defense, not so much like their offense. Their defense was able to force some turnovers
Yeah.
Their slow play clock clock management cost them today, whether it was him, the head coach, the rookie quarterback, but that's what cost them in that last drive the chance to tie the game.
So definitely their defense. I agree 100%. Their defense for sure.
They could have won the game, honestly.
They could have
won the game.
And I was rooting for them the whole time. My boss is a Dolphins fan, so I don't think he's gonna be very happy tomorrow.
Hold on. Y'all keep talking. I'm gonna get in the apartment. I'll be right back.
Okay. No, but I think like if they had Teddy Bridgewater playing, they could have won that game. Like it was a very winnable game. Like
yeah, I would agree with if they had Teddy, they would have.
Their defense kept them in the game.
Yeah,
but their offense wasn't that bad either.
Yeah. With a third-string quarterback, like he kept him in the game, but like
and Waddle was playing out of his mind. I felt like he had a really good playoff.
He had some drops in the first. Him and Hill had some huge drops in the first.
Yeah, but I feel like that comes to a rookie quarterback and also the Bills defense as well.
Yeah,
but the fact that they kept the game so close.
I mean, Waddle is from.
Yeah,
he should have when he had to.
My thoughts on Lovey here, real quick for us. The next question. He did what everybody wants to do to their boss, right? And that's just say "fuck you, man." Like who? Yeah, exactly. I mean, who's never want to tell their boss, "Hey, go fuck yourself"? He knew he was going to get fired, and if I walked in on my last day on my job and they said, "Hey," they pretty much, and I could fuck him over one last time. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck him over one last time, and he gets paid to win games, and that team gets paid. They're supposed to win games. They did what they're supposed to do, technically on the field. The only people that wanted them to lose is the general manager and the owner. You go out there as a player, you can't tell me that you want to lose. You don't give a fuck if that team gets the first round pick. I'm playing to win no matter what. I'm coaching no matter what to win a damn game. And Lovely could he have not gone for it on fourth and whatever in the Hail Mary to score the touchdown? Probably so. But guess what? He said, you know what? Fuck this guy. I'm out of here anyway. Fuck him. Pieces. And good luck getting the number 2. That's what I feel like.
Basically, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what happened.
So now that you had the number 2 pick, it's all quarterback. We know it's probably, but let me ask you, are you worried about the Bears with the number 1 trading out and getting a quarterback, another quarterback needy team? Because they're not. It's all smoke screens. If you think for 1 second that they're trading Justin Fields, it's absolutely crazy.
It's not happening.
Tell me who your drug guy is and give me his weed dealer. Because I'm gonna need what the fuck you're smoking on, because they're not trading him. It's all smoke screens. But I think they'll trade back. So are you guys worried about that? And do you guys think you should trade up?
Well, I don't think we have anything to give them that's worth.
My biggest worry is the Colts trading up, because we see the Colts took tank for Andrew Luck, and we saw how that turned out. Andrew Luck owned the division while he was healthy his entire career.
Yeah.
And especially if CJ Stroud doesn't to come for the draft, Bryce Young there's Bryce Young, and then there's
everybody
nosedive.
Yeah,
second best prospect. So
and like it's not talking shit on CJ Stroud, but by the eye test alone, Bryce seems like the overall number 1 pick for any team that's looking for a quarterback.
Clear cut winner. Like he's won on every level. Like Alabama, they were one of the worst offenses. This is quote unquote little guy carried that offense the entire season. And
he
looked good doing it too. Like he was.
So you guys both want Bryce.
100%. 100%. He was the answer. He was the solution.
So what if the Bears call you to call you? They say, hey, the Colts are offering us Quentin Nelson, swap picks, next year's first, and 2 seconds. Would you then say, we'll swap picks? You guys would get the 2. We'll take the 1 because we want Bryce Young. Next year's first, we'll give you this year's first, and we'll give you, let's say, the Browns first this year. So then the Bears are getting, 2 top 10 picks. Our next year's first, and then and a second. Would you guys do that?
That sounds like too much. That sounds like too much. And
Too much for Bryce Young.
That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the dilemma, right? Rios thinks it's a lot. I think it's just too much. If they can just take Burkhead and a bag of chips,
They're not doing that.
I'll be happy with that.
Philip Rivers not the GM, sir.
But I feel like I mean, I would be okay with swapping picks and giving them the Browns pick. I feel like I would be okay with that. I don't feel comfortable giving them next year's first, because even if we get Bryce, it's not like we're gonna get competitive all of a sudden. We're still gonna have a losing record. We still might be like high in the draft next year. So I want to use that first next year to hopefully try to help the team around, help build the team around Bryce, because we need to fix the O line. We need to give him more weapons.
My thing is this: look at the AFC. Look at those QBs in the AFC. You got
Dogs. I mean, we're looking at the playoff matchup. I mean, you got Burrow, you got Mahomes, you got Allen. I mean, they just kicked out Justin Herbert.
You got your own division, Lawrence.
Yeah.
Lawrence, Dak.
And there is just so many QBs in the AFC. Like, you got to have the guy. And like, you know what?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what cost.
So you're saying whatever the Bears want, you're willing to trade up to take Bryce Young?
Yeah.
Oh no,
I
don't know.
Carlos, that's what we're talking about right now. Is what do you want to do with the second pick? Would you trade up for the Bears? Because the Bears don't think that they're trading Justin Fields, but I 100% believe they're trading back to one of those QB needy teams. And so, what would you do? Would you trade up to get the number one, stay pat, or because they're 100% in on Bryce Young?
Right. You know, honestly, I don't. I wouldn't take. I wouldn't trade up for the Bears. I wouldn't, just because I wouldn't. Now I know I get Rios' argument that you look at all those top AFC quarterbacks or whatnot, but I would not give that up to the Bears, because whatever we have pretty good picks coming up. And honestly, CJ Stroud, he's going to declare by Monday. Like, it's just, I feel like he's just one of CJ Stroud. And honestly, at that point, I don't see CJ Stroud as a bad consolation prize. And if you even want to call him that.
So you're saying stay pat and take CJ?
Yes.
Or maybe get lucky in one of them teams like CJ more than Bryce, and you can take Bryce.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Obviously, my first choice would be Bryce Young first, but honestly, if I wouldn't trade with the Bears, I would take CJ Stroud from there on. He's not a bad. Some people want to call it a consolation prize. I don't. I think he's. If you develop him well enough, if you have good coaching around him, I think you can definitely make him a quality quarterback in the NFL. That's my theory on it. Now, if you want to trade down, or you want to do something else with it, I mean, now this is like, Anthony Richardson is still probably going to be down there, and that's a guy that you can probably take on. And
he's more of a project, if you ask me.
Right? Correct. Yeah, I'm not saying that's you definitely take that, but I mean, if you want to take him at a later round and probably try to get, like, I don't know, like a wide receiver or something like that in the second round or something along those lines, that guy is there. But if not, I would honestly just say I would take CJ Stroud. And like I said, I don't think that's a consolation prize. I think you're getting a quarterback that can be molded into an elite starter quarterback. That's my theory on it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm going to ask you guys one last Texan question. So obviously you're in this quarterback purgatory hell because of your last quarterback. So we do got to talk about Deshaun Watson. I just want to get your guys' thoughts on Deshaun. My opinion on the whole scenario is I didn't understand why he asked to be traded, and they said, no, we're not trading you, right? Is that like, and then the allegations started piling up. Now, at first I was like, when it's one masseuse lady, it's like, hey, that's he said, she said situation. But then when it's like, shit, there's 22, you figure maybe 5, 6 of them they're making some shit up because they're just adding on to get some motherfucking money. But I mean, 10, let's just say it's 10 real ones, then you got a problem. And then I know from myself I used to be an investigator for child abuse, like, hey, you got 10 kids saying the same shit, you did the shit. So what's y'all's thoughts on Deshaun Watson, and what point in your time where you're like, yo, I'm out on this guy now?
I think So when again, this kind of all goes back to the whole Jack. I hate to bring him up, but Jack Easterby starts.
Yeah.
Right?
No, he was the preacher, Jack Easterby. The only reason I know Jack Easterby is because Pat McAfee was talking all types of shit on him. That's what brought light into the Texans organization. I feel like.
And I think a lot of people don't really know much of Jack Easterby. If you want to see the kind of guy Jack Easterby was, there's a video out there of Jack Easterby doing like stand-up comedy at a thing.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's the most cringiest thing you will ever see. Like he uses like his style of, like the style of comedy that he was trying to use. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't a comedy. It was just like he was doing a sermon.
I thought it was him preaching. I thought it was him preaching.
Yeah. It sounded like,
and he was trying to make it as engaging as possible. And believe me, I know.
He made me an atheist.
Yeah. So like I speak in front of people all day long for my job. So I get it. I teach kids, right? And so the thing is, the thing is like I get it that he was trying to keep it engaging, but the problem is the fact that he didn't know how to keep it engaging. So what he did, he was using like almost every stereotype from every state or every region that he was naming. He said he was talking about the people in Minnesota and the Bobby's world. Don't you know?
Yeah.
Don't. I was like, oh my god! And then he talked about people in Houston wearing big belt buckles and big Cowboys had like everything's bigger in Texas. I'm like, nobody says that. Nobody in Houston says that shit. Nobody. Nobody in Houston says that. Like, I don't understand. Like, no, there's no.
Where was Andre Johnson when this happened?
There was Beats by Dre. Yeah, like there was nothing, like everything, and then like he talked about the first part, like he talked about the people in California, like man, we're gonna catch a wave, man, and then we're gonna go watch the game. Like, stop it. Anyway, so this is the guy that he was saying all that. Check it out on YouTube. It's the most cringiest thing ever. If you want to cringe, get a 6-pack. Watch it, get cringed out. It's
I mean more than a 6-pack, but okay.
It's Russian vodka. Russian proof vodka, and
exactly. So
rubbing alcohol and just go for it.
Chug it straight. And so
that was just why would you recommend it to anybody?
Let's not bring him up anymore. Let's not bring him up.
Well, I mean,
this is now a Jack Easterby free zone.
Yeah. So
I'd rather douse myself with gasoline and throw a match on myself to watch that garbage.
I like how Rios is slurring his words right now. He is gone beyond my power. That's you. You sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger, sir. Maria, get down.
To the chopper.
Get to the chopper. Maria. Anyway, so sorry.
Look at us doing stereotypes. Anyway.
Anyway, so with the whole Deshaun thing, I feel like a lot of that had to do with Jack. That's why I brought him up to begin with. And so when we were all ride or die with Deshaun, like,
and that's what D-Hop said too about Jack Easterby. It was his fault that he's out of Houston.
Well, according to the media, when the Hopkins trade happened, it was Jack Easterby's fault for that. He requested it. He demanded it to happen. The problem that I had with the Texans is the fact that actually got signed. That somebody approved that. That's what I had with the Texans at the time. And it was like, okay, yeah, you can bring up a dumb idea anytime, but the fact is that somebody's there to check it, or like, no, what the? If I was like the Texans front office when it happened, I'd be like, what is wrong with you? No. And then like
catapult them into the next dimension.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, even if you're trading a guy like Hopkins, get something good in return.
Yeah, instead you got a broken ass running back from David Johnson.
Yeah.
And a half-eaten sandwich. Don't forget
a wash machine.
Yeah.
a washing machine.
Jackie Moon, right? And so And so we were right or die for Deshaun, and then he demands to get traded, and almost immediately after that, you get the whole allegations start coming out, in and out. Now, I'm not saying it's coincidence. I'm just saying we started seeing it almost immediately within days of I want to get traded somewhere or I'm sitting out.
I thought the same thing. Coincidence, right?
The whole allegation thing started happening, and then
they knew.
Yeah, Like
Yeah.
I feel like they knew, but they kind of swept it under the rug in a way. And
it's proved that they knew. They had people sign NDAs and everything,
right.
so they knew what was going on.
Right, and then
it's like Big Ben with the Steelers. It's like the Steelers knew.
And then right, and then there was even there was some sort of like things going on back in Clemson apparently, but he gave them a national championship, so they swept it under the rug. It is ridiculous that they did that to begin with. But the Texans should have been. I mean, if you completely vet these guys right before you draft them or anything, like you should know the baggage some of these guys come from. Now, it's acceptable to get some baggage of like, you got some prime records, like you got possession somewhere or whatever. But when it's
stole some crab legs or something,
Yeah.
But it's like that. Like they knew.
If it's to this level, dude, like I don't know, like I don't really. To me, I'm like, why would you get this guy in the first place? Like if that's the case, if you were looking to that, well, we got him. We were all excited. We didn't know all that was happening, so we were ride or die for Deshaun. Probably we were thinking he's going to be a generational quarterback. He was doing so much with no receivers, even after Hopkins. The record didn't show it, but he was still making plays without Hopkins, right?
He was still elite.
He was still elite, and with whatever he had. So, we were ride or die for him, and then all these things, like I said, came out as soon as he wanted for the trade. But like you said, Bodkins, when you have that many people saying that, you take seriously, right? But the fact is, when you have 20 some, I'm like, dude, come on. And then when you started seeing the interviews come out publicly about like, you don't think that's gross, Deshaun? He's like, I mean, it is what it is. I'm like, bro, read
the room. It's like R. Kelly, right? You could play that video on anybody, like I mean.
I love how we're talking about Deshaun and R. Kelly in the same argument.
I mean, you're the same person.
That should tell you enough. That should tell you.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
And so we were ride or die for him. And then when that happened, I was just like, no, it ain't worth it. Even if like the guy had settled, like which he did in those, I didn't want him back in the organization because it was just like I can't buy a jersey from him because I'm promoting him. Like I don't want that stuff, I don't want him to. I don't want to wear anything that's Deshaun Watson related after all that crap came out. And I had a jersey. I just didn't. I felt dirty. I felt sick. Like I didn't want that. I was like, no.
We have mothers, we have daughters, we have sisters. Like I could never be comfortable wearing something promoting him. Like it'd be
feel weird. Like
faces, honestly.
Yeah. So when R. Kelly comes on, what do?
I turn it off.
Good.
I say I can separate the artist from the art, but I do say this: some of them songs that I think I listen to now, I'm like, oh shit, this motherfucker was not singing about the same girls I was thinking about. He was thinking about something else.
Yeah.
No, but we're glad he's gone.
Because like me and the girl I was dating previously, we talked about this, and we're both saying, we love his music, but like at the same time, like we just can't listen to it just because what now, like back then, it's cool, but like knowing what you know now, like
you're just like. His bump and grind is not bump and grinding the same bump and grind I'm bumping and grinding on.
Like age isn't but a number, like
yeah,
But
it was.
It really was.
So before we get into baseball, I want to ask y'all, who is your favorite Texan player to ever play? Is it unanimously J.J. Watt, or y'all got somebody different? Go ahead, Poppy. Who's your favorite Texan of all time?
For me, it's 100% JJ, man. Like I said at the beginning of the show, like my fandom started right after he got drafted, and he was there for 10 years, and every single time, like even when the team was down, when the team was up, he was an exceptional player on the field and an exceptional human being off the field. Everything he did for the city, everything he did for the fans, and the fact that even after he left, the city shows so much love for him, and he shows so much love for the city, even if if he was born here, what I'm saying? Like he is the greatest to ever do it with a Texans jersey. The only regret I have is that we never got him that ring.
Yeah.
But everything else, man, he has my vote 100%. First ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a real life superhero, honestly, man. Like just larger than life figure. Like
literally.
Rios, you got somebody different? I can even pick an Oiler if you want. I know technically that's the Titans, but you know.
I can't.
Davis Mills, right?
Go to hell, sir.
I'll see you there.
Honestly, no, man. Like it has to be JJ. Like he's just this large in life figure, just on the field, off the field. Like not just on the field, like off the field. Like what he did during Harvey, man. Like that's never going to be replicated by anybody. Like that was felt by so many people that had no hope. Like I mean, you just can't replicate something like that. Like it's a real life superhero.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's funny. Don't get me wrong. I love JJ Watt. To me, it comes close with Andre Johnson, and JJ Watt. So it's like a pretty good tie for me. Andre Johnson is before JJ Watt, he had put the Texans on the map because you had a wide receiver that was doing these plays almost in that category with like Calvin and stuff like that. They call Calvin Megatron. We were thinking of calling Andre Optimus Prime, and so it was one of those things. And Andre, I really like Andre, but I'm still gonna go with JJ. I was gonna share with y'all a Andre Johnson story if y'all want me to, really quick.
Go ahead.
No.
All right, cool. See y'all later. Bye. See you out the door.
Go for it.
Yes.
All right, so really quick, I'll keep this short. So when my little cousins at the time, he was with the our old high school. Sorry, my dogs are acting weird. 1 second. Hey, calm down. Calm down. I have 3 crazy dogs, y'all, and
And a cat.
Sorry, and a cat. So it's been a mess today. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, so I went to my little cousin's like football game or whatever, and they had our school finally had like made the playoffs for like the first time in years or whatever. And so they were holding the playoff game over there in NRG Stadium. So I go, and as always, I'm running late, and I get to, typical fashion, I'm running late, and then I get there, and every time I went to his playoff games, like I knew the coach and everything, so I always got to be like on the field and stuff, right? Like all the games that I went.
They felt sorry for you, so it's like a radio
they felt
situation.
sorry for me. Right? It was like, they felt sorry for me. Like, go on in. So I got to be on the field just to hang out or whatever, right? But in this particular occasion, I'm thinking the same thing's gonna happen, but I showed up late. So I showed up late, so I'm like trying to get down. Security guard is there, right on our side. So I'm like, hey, can I go down there? I'm one of the family members for one of the guys right now on the field. And he says, no family members, nobody can be out here or whatever, right? And I was like, well, why is that tall dude here? He's right there. Like, I'm looking at him standing with his little girl or with a baby. He's right there. How come he gets to go and I don't? And so he's like, sir, you just can't come in. I was like apparently I turned into a total Karen. And so I was like, how come he's there? Why is he there? What makes him so special? And I was like, so the guy just, gave me a whatever explanation. I was like, whatever. So I sat back down, like pissed off. After a while, the guy keeps walking around, and it's Andre Johnson. And he's Andre Johnson showed up because he was an ARD. He shows up, and I was like, "Oh, that's Andre Johnson." And I guess he heard what I was saying because we weren't too far off. And he turns around. I was like, "Oh, that's Andre Johnson." He turns around, and I can hear him say, "That boy crazy," and that was it. And that was it. I heard it. He's like, "Ah, boy crazy," and so that was it. That was my Andre story.
Man.
So I made an ass out of myself in front of Andre Johnson.
To the shock of absolutely nobody.
Right here with my coolers.
Oh, let's not get into
that.
Let's not get into that. I've already told that story. Let's not get into that.
No.
Hey, I don't know if y'all hear that. That's not me banging a trash can or nothing, but we'll just go ahead and allude it to right into it.
They're all out.
I gotta get y'all's thoughts on because I don't know how I would feel as a fan if I'm a diehard Cubs fan. So like 2016 is like, my number one bucket list of my life. I was in Chicago when they won it. But so I think like, how would I react as a fan if I found out later on that they were cheating or, however you want to say it, banging this trash can? I've heard stories of a weird buzzer on Altuve's, shirt. Like, what are your guys' thoughts? As you guys, I've talked to all three of y'all. All y'all, I can tell, love baseball. Said that was like your guys' first love, one of y'all's first love.
Yeah.
What's y'all's thoughts on that little cheating scandal?
Mámense un huevo todito.
All right, so
Mámense un huevo, me saculo.
I don't speak Spanish, y'all. I don't speak Spanish. I don't speak.
All right.
More violin. That's all I gotta say.
Hold on. Let me explain here. All right, Bodkin. So
This is smart guy.
Translate.
apparently,
Translate for me,
the one with the only one with a college degree back there. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, that makes no difference. I'm an idiot. That makes no difference. No. Anyway, so the way that I see it is this. Now, I'm not excusing it. Was it proven that the Astros were cheating? Of course they did. It was proven. It was proven, and there's no denying that. I think that if you're going to talk about the 2017 World Series championship, you do have to acknowledge the fact that they cheated that particular year. I do agree that is important. However, there have been multiple players that have come out and said that a lot of the teams were also doing it too. The only difference was
the Red Sox were proven, the Yankees were proven. Dude.
Right, exactly. So what I'm saying is, I think that if we have to talk about the Astros cheating, then I believe it's equally as important to talk about how other teams were also cheating. The problem is the MLB did a terrible job at trying to clear all of this up. They kind of just dumped the Astros into the wolves.
To two things. Number one, you don't want to hurt the Yankee brand because the Yankee brand is the ultimate brand in all of baseball. The Red Sox are right there behind them. And you got the second option is they won the World Series and they were cheating. So what I mean?
Right. So what I'm saying is I get that we can all agree here, no matter if you're a Cubs fan, you're an Astros fan, you name it. We all know that the MLB's poster child is the Yankees.
Yes.
That is their top team because they sell the merchandise. You can go to any country in the world and show them that. You show them that Yankee logo, and they'll tell you it's the Yankees. You do the same thing with the Dodgers, right?
Yes, so, it's very few teams. The Cubs are actually probably right there as far as right behind those. Yeah,
but they are. They're pretty because the longevity. You guys have been around for
WGN had a lot to do with it.
Right, exactly. But if we in the big picture, the Yankees are the most marketable team in baseball, right? So.
Legacy team, basically.
Team. So the thing is this: if you're going to talk about the Astros cheating, it is also important. Which we agree that the 2017 trophy, that's how we attained it. That's fine. However, the thing is, you have to have a consistent argument that all of these other teams as well were doing the same thing. Like you said, the Red Sox were doing it. This year, the Yankees had the Goldilocks balls, like that. You know what I mean? Like to get those. Like it was proven. Like it was.
They cheated, still lost. They got swept. Gross. They got swept.
The Astros own the Yankees the last 2 years.
Damn fucking right. Damn right. The last 5 years, and for another 5 more.
It's not even close.
5 more.
Yeah, and then
the Yankees. It's funny. The Yankees cheat and they lose badly.
Aaron Judge signed a 10-year deal just to lose to the Astros for 10 more years.
10 years.
Yeah. And so, anyway, going back to that,
there's Daddy Yankee, and then there's Altuve, the Yankees' daddy.
So now, going back to what you said about the buzzer. So the buzzer thing was brought up in 2019. That's John Boy Media. John Boy Media brought all that up, but it was actually never proven to you
was a dream he had.
Yeah, it was. No, I mean,
goddamn dream.
I mean, you can speculate. You can say, oh, it's Yankees fans, whatever. It doesn't matter, but it was just proven. It was just improved.
What do we call it? Niece on Twitter. I mean, this dude was just deluded. He was just looking for clout. He got his clout. He got the bag, but he's a hack, honestly, man.
And so of course, I understand why people would feel the same way, about the Astros that same way, saying, how do you call it? The thing about the Astros, you're always gonna get that perspective from the fans, saying that the Astros are cheaters, Astros, whatever, and the banging on the trash can. I get it. That's gonna happen.
We've talked to players; they feel the same way.
Right? They feel
it's not. They don't care.
Hold on. And so then, when I went to Oakland this past year, that's a lot of the fans kept booing Bregman, Yuli Gurriel, Altuve.
What's left of that trash can banging team?
What's left of the 2017 team, right? And so they were mainly going off on them, and when other guys came in on the plate, they wouldn't say anything. It was just those particular guys. So I understand that that's what they look forward to. But the thing is this, though. I'll tell you this. When George Springer went to the Blue Jays, when Correa went to the Twins, those same fans that were complaining about them being beer growth. That's hilarious. I love that.
Appreciate it, Paula Knights.
Yeah. When those same fans that complained about them being cheaters, suddenly they welcome them into their own team. So, like, that's what you know what I mean? Like, they were welcome. Okay, so
look at the Yankees. They got Garrett Cole.
Well,
listen,
one of the guys at the
Marwin, the biggest beneficiary.
Marwin Gonzalez, the biggest beneficiary of the whole scandal. Marwin Gonzalez was in the Yankees roster. Was it this past season or the season before? I can't remember. One of them. Yeah. Okay. So then Carlos Beltran, who was a big proponent of the whole scandal, suddenly was working for the. He called the games. The main guy responsible for it now is part of the Yes Network this past season. Like, come on, dude. Like, if these guys are so bad, if these guys were so bad, then why are you getting the Dodgers, the LA Dodgers, the organization that cried the most about it, like about the whole situation? Guess what? The same equipment manager that was doing a lot of things with the Astros, guess who's on their team now?
Listen.
So you guys, I mean, you guys are pretty much what I gather. You guys are just okay with like, hey, we recognize that what they did. We'll take the booing of the fans, but at the end of the day, everybody else, kind of like the steroid era, everybody else was doing it.
Yeah.
We also got caught, and we're the scapegoat.
To every fan and to every team that's salty about it, stay salty, stay sad, stay mad.
We're inevitable.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys
inevitable. I'm gonna be downtown Houston next year when we're going back to back
because
on the parade, and all of y'all gonna be home salty as shit.
Let me ask you this then. So did this year feel like a more redemption then? Because you guys,
definitely.
This was like the redeem, kind of like the redeem team of the Olympics.
No redemption.
So I got two saying yes, one saying no.
We just do what we do, and everybody can stay mad.
Hey, October is the Astros Invitational Tournament, and end of the day,
that's it, man. That's it.
So I feel like
help these guys get back on track. I feel like this is how the show runs.
You can tell there's levels of
intensity. I'm the mediator apparently in this the whole thing. Yeah, no. Honestly, I do think it felt like redemption because the thing is this. So people can say yes, the Astros, and understandably so. Yes, I mean every team, a lot of teams have their thing. The White Sox, they were shaving points back in the day. We were like, it was every team has their thing. I just think the MLB has done a bad job at helping that PR for those teams. I'll give you a clue. When Tom Brady's Deflategate happened, how often do you hear about that now?
Depends on who you ask.
Right. So, because here's the thing. There's that MLB loves drama so much that they're like,
that's because they're the lowest rating of the major sports, so that's why they got to get drama.
They love the drama.
Also, they play too many games.
Yeah, I mean they.
Why do you think Why do you think they allow the fights, the player on the benches? Why it becomes such a spectacle? Like, you have to look at it in that perspective. They love the drama. They love seeing this. Of course, when the Astros thing came in, they're like, "Oh, there's nothing for the MLB to talk about. Let's talk about the Astros cheating scandal." Yeah, whatever.
I do think it went away a little bit more. It went away quicker, I felt like, because of COVID, right? Because of the COVID-stricken season directly after that, after they were found guilty.
Well, when the Dodgers won their Mickey Mouse ring, I feel like it kind of like came back into the forefront because they were like, oh, that's how you get it done or whatever, bro.
Yeah, with 62 games.
You play like half a season. Get out of my face. Don't talk.
Not even half a season. They played 2 months of baseball.
They played spring training and they think they're hot shit. Get out of here.
Now,
Let's-
if you think,
What have they done since?
I'm gonna ask two more baseball questions, then I'll ask two basketball questions, and then we'll kind of get out of here. So, I know y'all
Sorry,
got a lot
we're
more drinking.
dragging it out.
A lot more drinking to do. So, what do the Astros got to do this year to get back-to-back? Dusty Baker, I was surprised he didn't retire.
Me too.
He's been around a long, long time. He finally gets his ring. And I was glad to see Dusty get a ring. I do felt like I ruined some arms in Chicago, Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood's careers, but I put that aside. I was glad to finally see him get a lifelong baseball guy to get his ring.
Yeah,
and then but what do the Astros got to do? Gone is Bregman. Gone is a couple of other guys. I know they brought in Trey Mancini is now a Cub. What do the Astros got to do to repeat this coming year to go back to back? Something that's hasn't been done since the Yankees. 99, 2000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, y'all go because I'll finish it up.
I'll say it. Stay healthy. Because if they stay healthy,
Verlander's gone. Yeah.
I'll see y'all in November.
So what did they got a pitcher though to replace Verlander? I forgot who they went and got.
They got Framber Valdez.
Well, Framber they re-signed him, but like he's gonna be the new
Hunter
ace.
Brown. Hunter
Yeah.
Brown is supposed to be the guy that Hunter Brown is the guy that we had that kind of came through our.
He's kind of like Kobe. Like I don't like using this analogy, but basically Kobe and Jordan. Like Kobe analyzed Jordan to no end and mimic everything he does. Hunter Brown's kind of the same with Verlander, and I think if he can play to his full potential, it's our next Verlander.
Rios is hammered.
I feel like he's gonna be like the fifth guy on our rotation, maybe sixth. We'll see what happens with Urquidy in the end. But as far as what the Astros need to do, like what Rio says, stay healthy. We need Jordan to stay healthy. We need him to play the whole season. He was dropping bombs right before he got hurt, and then you see what he did in the playoffs when he stays healthy.
Yeah, he's a stud.
And then now that we re-signed Uncle Mike to another deal, if he can stay, play the left field and stay healthy all year, with the bullpen that we got, with the bats that we got Abreu now on the lineup. And
Abreu's good. Yeah,
he should add some more offense to probably the bottom side of the lineup where we had Diaz and Mancini kind of dropping big fat zeros most of the games. If we just stay healthy, man, it's back to back and it's salty season for everybody else in the league. I don't give a damn.
None whatsoever.
Carlos, what's your thoughts here on what the Astros need to do?
I feel like I am a parent guarding my children right now. Wait till
are you gonna?
wait till we get home.
You don't have to apologize for them later. You know.
Wait till we get home. No, I'm kidding. No, they're great.
Wait till we get off air, boys.
No, they're cool dudes. Honestly, so in our spaces earlier today, I was hosting one with Rios for Wager Wire, and we discussed part of the Astros right now. It's so there are two players going into arbitration with the Astros. Kyle Tucker being one of them, and Christian Javier. Now, if you remember, Christian Javier was one of those top guys that I think he was one of the guys that pitched a no-hitter with the Yankees, or was it with the Phillies? I can't remember.
It was the Yankees twice.
Yankees twice, yeah.
Regular season and postseason.
Right. Okay. So he's a guy that it wouldn't surprise me if he developed and even chased a Cy Young award. I'm not even trying to blow him up or anything. This is just me being as realistic as possible.
The Vegas now have him up there, it's
right. So he's a guy that you're definitely going to need. And the Astros right now, they went to arbitration because they had a dispute over $500K. It was just $500K. Now to all of us, $500K is a lot of money. But for sports, the way they sign these ridiculous contracts, that's almost like nothing. That's chump change for them.
Nothing.
So the Astros this year signed Rafael Montero, which is a reliever, for 10-point-something million. But you're not able to get the guy that's probably going to be another ace for $500K. Like that doesn't make sense to me. Same thing with Kyle Tucker. I think Kyle Tucker wanted $2.5 million more than what he was being offered by the Astros just to avoid arbitration. The Astros I guess they didn't come into terms with that, and they decided they're going into arbitration as well. So I'm thinking this could have been at the most 3.5 million, 3 million settlement, and you could have had both of these two guys. I mean, you're still gonna have them, but like you run the risk of them becoming, like, I guess, more expensive during the offseason the next offseason or whatnot.
We go back
So,
to back.
and so the thing is, now we got rid of our manager. Is it Lung Ho, right? It was Lung Ho, the one that we got rid of, and because
2 years ago.
I'm sorry, who's the guy we just got rid of? I apologize, I can't remember the name. Huh?
Yes.
James Glick.
James Click, thank you. Because he basically wasn't paying the Astros players. They were getting him for championship.
Basically doing Moneyball with it.
He's playing Moneyball. Yeah. He's playing Moneyball with the players. Yeah.
Worked out with Pena though. Worked out with Pena.
Right. So that's the biggest issue, and they got rid of him because they were trying to like pay the players more, but you're still having these types of problems, you know. And so now you did sign Jose Abreu. I thought that was a really good signing because definitely with the I don't think Yuli Gurriel is going to come back for us, and we definitely need a first baseman. And Mancini is out. Like he's with the Cubs now. Mancini. The thing with Mancini though is that he's great at playing first base, but when it came, he was going through a huge slump. I think since like November.
Yeah, he struck out a lot.
And he was going for a while. He had a few flashes throughout the season. I think maybe like a few games where he hit a few homers here and there. But
do you remember the first home game we went to see him after the trade? And like I think his first at bat, he just hit one to the Crawford ball.
Yeah, exactly. And so like Mancini had a lot of good flashes, and I hope he thrives over there in with Chicago with you guys, because I like Trey Mancini. I would have liked for him to come back, but. Yeah, I think he did great. He had a clutch save for us in the World Series against the Phillies, like after Yuli Gurriel left. I think Mancini he's a great person. I'm glad you guys have him. Treat him well. Anyway,
hopefully comes Chicago and figures out how to hit again.
Right. So hopefully that's the only problem with Mancini, that he wasn't able to hit, and it seemed like a lot of his confidence was down. Like whenever he got on interviews, he was just like, "Well, I know I haven't been able to hit lately," and so it just seemed like it was a confidence.
We got Mancini on this show.
And he comes in. That's exactly how I felt, y'all. No, and so, but then, I really like that Jose Abreu, that we got him from the White Sox, because again, it replaces Mancini, it replaces Yuli. And then
he's gonna hit 30 home runs. Yeah.
And then he can hit. So I loved it. I think a lot of people had an issue with his age though, being like 35. Poppy did.
I do.
See? And so, but then you think about it, Yuli Gurriel got to the Astros at what, about 33, 34, something like that, when they first got him, and now he's, and he was productive. So it may be one of those things.
So here's what I'll say: if we win a ring this next season, then I'll shut up about it. But until then,
I mean, you mean like your dad with the Pena?
hey, he came around though. He came around.
Pena came around. Anyway, so
your dad or Pena?
Both.
So I feel like getting those players, you're gonna have to offer Javier. You definitely can't lose Javier after losing Verlander. Farmer Valdez is going to be your ace. That's your main guy. Second is going to be Christian Javier.
Definitely.
Third would probably be Lance McCullers. Lance McCullers, he's, after seeing him in that World Series game, I kind of lost a little trust on him, but then again, he's been like that. He has a really nasty slider, but other than that, I mean, he can be a little shaky. Sometimes he's on and off here and there. And after that, we have two other guys, either Jose Urquidy or Luis Garcia, who are also inconsistent. They have their good days, they have their bad days. But they both have pitched in the World Series before, so they have that experience.
He is our leader in World Series wins.
As long as the Astros can also, I think they re-signed everybody back from the bullpen. That bullpen is what helped the Astros get to where they were also, because let's go back to that World Series when they went against the Braves. The Astros had They were just Rios uses a great example. They were holding on to that bullpen with was it duct tape and prayers? Is that what you say?
Basically.
Yeah. It was
Tape
and
first.
the best analogy I've heard from that. They were just rotating, similar kind of like to like the Phillies, but they were rotating guys back and forth, and they were just worn out this year. But the Astros this year, like they focused so much on that bullpen that I think that was an essential key for the Astros to win that World Series. If you saw, Jose Altuve was almost non-existent throughout the postseason. So the fact that you went off and got Jose Abreu, Michael Brantley, guys that can get on. Well, Jose Abreu obviously can hit homers, can basically do a lot of things more than just former MVP. But guys like Michael Brantley, who may not hit you a homer here and there, but at least he can get on base. It's like Moneyball. But what does he do? He gets on base. Yeah, and so that's what hitter.
Uncle Mike is a professional hitter, man. Like,
and so the only problem is the shoulder. He left this season because his shoulder just was falling apart, literally. And so that was the issue. But they re-signed him again for like a year. So I think, like Poppy said, if they can stay healthy and they can get those key players back and they can maintain that same focus that they did, I see them going deep in the playoffs, even World Series, and probably winning it. That's how I say it. Because as in any other, we had Brett Chansey. He's one of the guys that does the Locked On Astros podcast here, and he predicted also. He's like, you know who I see? I see the Astros. As long as everything stays the same thing happens. They stay healthy, and all that. I see them going to the World Series against the Braves this year because that was his prediction. And honestly, it's a bold prediction. I could see like a rematch of Astros and Braves again this year. This year too.
We take it back.
You gotta finish it. That's it.
Hey, we'll see.
What if their next logo is finish the job?
What's y'all's? Give me your favorite Astro of all time.
Man,
I have to go with Craig Biggio because I've met
Craig
the guy.
Biggio?
Yeah, Craig Biggio. I've met the guy. When I used to work in a retail and selling like power generators and things like that way before I started teaching. I would be a salesman. Like I'd sell for him, and my commission was really great. Yeah, and so honestly, he's a good dude. So, and he's really nice. I took pictures with him and everything. Hey, bro, selfie? And he's like, sure, whatever, And so funny, really quick. I know you gotta go, but I was at the stores like at 8 a.m. when I was working at that store. It was 8 a.m. one day. No, it's like dead. And if anybody's ever worked retail, like in the mornings, it was a tool store, just kind of like similar to Home Depot.
Yeah.
But it was like dead in the morning. Like nobody was there, and you're just kind of like messing around until like 8:30 when your first customer comes in or whatever. And then we see this guy coming in with like a Carhartt jacket, blue jeans. And it was cold outside, so he had like a hoodie on. And he just he's just there. And so he comes in and it's Craig Biggio, right? And he's like, oh, hey. And I was like, oh, Biggio, whatever, blah, blah. And I go help him out, stuff like that, take a picture. And then I was like, but I didn't see a car parked outside in the parking lot because it was dead. The only cars were ours. I was like, did you park outside? He's like, oh, no, my car's at the dealership. The dealership was about 2 blocks away from the store. So this dude was walking on the side of the freeway almost to go to go to the store. Biggio was walking from the former Astro, Mr. 3000 over here was walking from the like on this almost on the side of the on the sidewalk of the freeway just to get to the store just because he was bored off his mind. He didn't want to wait. Biggio.
All that to say Biggio.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Poppy?
So the right answer for me, it has to be Altuve for obvious reasons.
Is it because you're from Venezuela?
Maybe a little bit. Maybe I'm a little biased, but he is an Astros legend, and
who's the best pitcher? Luis Garcia, because he's from Venezuela.
No, he's actually better than all of us, really.
Fernando Venezuela is
But honestly, my favorite to like watch and just the energy he brought and everything, it's actually George Springer. Like he's like, I know it's an outside shout, but like,
hey, everybody got their favorite. I got a lot of different players that I've just loved watching for different reasons. So
yeah, and to me, to me, like when he left to the Blue Jays, like I took it hard, man. Like it was bad, but I still root for him, man. And like if he ever comes back or whatever, like I think my sister met him once as well, so I'm so jealous about it. Like, yes, she did. She did. Yeah.
Hey, did you meet George Springer?
She lied to me.
She did.
So, now they're getting a divorce. He's no longer going to be your brother-in-law.
I'm keeping the podcast.
Changes into Poppy's fans. Poppy's fans 22.
We'll just name it Poppy and Rios and fuck Carlos. How about that?
All of
it. Yeah, man, George Springer will have to be my vote. Even though Altuve is my goat. I would say probably Springer.
What about you, Rios? Who's your favorite?
I'm gonna go with Tuve just because his story, man. Like they tried him out. You're not good enough. You're never gonna make it in baseball. Try it out
Nolan Ryan because you met him.
I never met Altuve.
No, I thought you were gonna say Nolan Ryan because you played with him.
No,
You're old.
I'm gonna say Altuve just because of his story, just never giving up. Like they told this guy he was not good enough to make it, and try out it again. And I guess we'll give this little guy a shot. And look at him now. Like
now he owns
the former MVP. Yeah,
he owns the whole Yankees organization. So
that's Daddy Yankee right there, basically.
There you go.
I'm like, this 5'6" guy is better than Aaron Judge will ever be. That's crazy to me.
Amen.
Aaron Judge 6'8". This little 5'6" guy from Venezuela is going to be greater than this guy will ever be. Like that's. I mean, you got to respect that, man. Like, come on.
There he is, right there.
Altuve is 5'6". Aaron Judge is 6'8". And you know what? And then when it's all said and done, Altuve is going to be better than Aaron Judge.
Hall of Famer.
Well, I mean, this is baseball. Size don't really matter a whole lot in baseball than basketball or football.
This is supposed to be Lance McCullers. He looks like Latino. Lance McCullers.
Looks more like my coolers than anything else.
Let's talk some Rockets here real quick before we get out of here. Dead last in the NBA. It's sad times in Houston.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Why is it, Poppy? Why is it not sad times in Houston? What the hell do they need to do to get back to the good times? Because Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, and those boys ain't walking through the door. I don't think Chris Paul is either. Neither is Tracy McGrady, Yao Ming. Maybe James Harden may walk back through that door. As might be
I hope not.
He's trying.
He's trying.
I'm gonna tell you what the difference is.
Tanking for Wemby.
The Rockets are gonna do what the Texans couldn't, and we're gonna get that number 1 pick.
We're getting Wemby.
We're gonna get Victor Wembanyama, and then we're gonna own this league in 5 years' time. The way Jalen has developed, the only thing I would say he needs to work on defense, but besides that, he's a complete.
That's all young players. That's all young players. They're all
100%.
I called it last year. He's on a Kobe level trajectory.
Okay, you need to stop comparing.
Get the hell out of here! Hey, stop drinking right now. And
that's what I told him last week when he said the same
Don't
thing.
ever mention Kobe Bryant and a Kobe trajectory with somebody ever again, please, for the love of God. I can't have that on this.
Exactly. Please tell
you
him
can
again.
say whatever the hell you want, but not that type of stuff. Jesus.
Yeah.
Jalen is a bucket getter. KPJ, he's become a better playmaker and a better scorer than I actually gave him credit for when he first came to Houston.
I told you.
Jabari is been or rock on defense, but he still has a lot to develop.
He can't even drink. He's 20 years old. Like, give him some time.
Yeah, but then he starts drinking and then he's gonna slow down. I don't need that.
Fight.
And then
fight.
And Sengun could be one of the best.
Sengun, he's a foundational piece, honestly, in my opinion.
He could be like one of the most entertaining guys off the bench next season after we get Victor on the offseason.
Honestly, I see Sengun as being the next Joker. Next Jokic. Like, he's that kind of player.
2-time MVP, maybe 3-time MVP.
You got some high hopes.
I know, he really does.
The next Joker, the next Kobe. I mean, for a 10-win team, you got some high-ass hopes for some of these guys.
Hey, I'm excited. I gotta say, like,
get what you read, man, bro, because you got some high hopes from this.
My predictions have been spot on so far. Ask them.
Whatever.
Wrong so far.
This season was a write-off, and next season will be too. But as long as we're getting the right pieces, dude, in 5 years' time, we might just be one piece away, and that's when you get a free agent. And then you go for the championship, and then you dominate, and then it's salty season for everybody else.
Hey, have my prediction been wrong so far though? For every sport I've commented on it, have they been wrong?
I mean, you forget about this guy right here. You forgot about this guy right here. You got that wrong. You got that wrong, my guy.
So how's your day, Bodkins? How's that going? Good.
Man, it's kind of hard
to Also, Rios, me la mama completico, chico.
I mean, you can't be.
Hey, let me ask you guys one last question before we get out of here. Give me y'all's favorite Rocket of all time. You guys got a favorite Houston Rocket?
Oh, definitely. Hakeem
the Dream. I mean, they can't go wrong there. 2 titles. He's the only delivered. Hey, you could. I mean, I'm not a Rocket, but she played basketball. Cheryl, what was it? Not Cheryl Swoops. Cheryl Swoops. Was it the Houston? Was it them? Houston Comets.
No, well, Hakeem. So I went to U of H. Hakeem also went to U of H. Again,
you guys played together?
You guys played
basically. No, but like, he basically learned basketball as a teenager, came to this country and just dominated. Like, just it was crazy how he dominated. And it's crazy. So when he got drafted before Michael Jordan. Most people are like, oh, that's crazy. But you know what? Most basketball players.
Was it crazy?
Not really. Not at the time.
Most basketball players, to this day, they're like, it's not that crazy. Taking him number 1. Like, they won't argue that. Like, he was that good.
He was that good. Like, no one's gonna argue. Like, the defensive player of the year award is named after Hakeem Olajuwon. Like, he was him.
Would you have taken Jordan Rios if it were up to you?
No.
If you could have? No? You would have kept it? You had in a parallel universe, that we're going to do a Marvel what if here.
No.
Would you or Poppy, would you have taken Jordan instead of Hakeem?
We already had a shooting guard at the time, so.
Yeah, I was still.
I would have. I still took Jordan to me as the greatest athlete to ever walk Earth.
And I agree, but you know what? I still take Hakeem.
And the reason I say that, it is not just because his talent, ability. It's just like there's not one person in life I feel like has that will to win more than Michael Jordan ever had. His will to win is beyond exceeded any person that's ever played any sport to me. He refused to lose no matter what, and would do no matter what it took to win a game. And that's why I say Jordan over any athlete. And I tell people that I don't like arguing these numbers with LeBron and this and that. Tell people I'm a Jordan purist at pure heart. I will make another athlete or person over Michael Jordan.
Same here. That's why it's hard to say, Hakeem over Jordan, but you know what? Hakeem for us as Houstonians, like he was that guy, man.
As a Houston, you have to pick Hakeem, right? 2 champions.
He changed the culture of the city, so it's got to be Hakeem. Harden is probably the best Rocket I've ever seen play. He might be the best that I will ever get to see play. But
I would take Tracy. Let me ask you this: Tracy McGrady or James Harden?
In their prime, James Harden every single day, but T-Mac, yeah.
If T-Mac stay healthy, man,
T-Mac is a close second.
Yeah, you know when you said you chose how do you call it, Michael over LeBron any day? I was like, this is the reason why I wear these and not no LeBron James shoes. This is where these are the best shoes.
Look at my closet. My closet, I have like 50 pairs of Jordans.
Right.
Okay, we get it. You make money. Shut up.
So you say you guys would take Harden or T-Mac?
I would say T-Mac. If T-Mac stays healthy,
I would take T-Mac. I just let T-Mac's so underrated. He was, he was kind of these mixed point guards that we see now in today's game before the game revolutionized.
Like for me, T-Mac he's like those big what ifs. T-Mac, Hardaway,
I love how Carlos looks like.
If those dudes stay healthy, man, they would have changed the league.
Yeah, if T-Mac and Grant Hills were healthy and are together in Orlando, who knows what they could have been. One of the big what ifs.
They're 6'8". They can play offense, defense. Like they can play the point. They basically play, 1 through 4. Like
let me ask you, Here's another what if. What if Jordan doesn't retire and you guys they catch the Rockets? That Bulls team, let's just say they still have Horace Grant at that time. That Bulls team, so you're talking Scottie, Jordan, and Horace Grant against that Rockets team.
Nobody can stop Hakeem.
Those two Rockets.
Nobody on that team can.
Jordan said, we don't have an answer for the
Shaq
guy.
couldn't even stop Hakeem when he was in the
it's
final.
funny. Jordan said it himself, like, we don't have an answer for Hakeem.
They didn't have an answer.
And back then when the bigs owned the league,
Hakeem.
no way.
I don't think
you don't have
Bill Cartwright and them boys are stopping him.
No.
That's why they went and got Dennis to help in those situations.
They knew,
like Dennis. Dennis was cool.
As David Robinson, who's gonna stop Hakeem?
Nobody.
Not a man on this planet.
Yeah.
Hakeem is prime. No one's stopping him. Shaq, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, none of those guys. Those are elite.
If Hakeem played today, he would give Embiid the business all day.
Well, Embiid's not even that good.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Embiid is probably the best true center in this league, and Hakeem's still miles above him.
I don't know. I would take
those Hakeem highlights, like his footwork, man.
Who would you say is the best big in the league, like the best true center?
Jokic is a center, and he's more of a big.
but he doesn't play like a big man.
I would say Giannis.
There's some nights where he plays more like a 1 or a 2 than an actual.
To me, the game has changed so much, right? Like I played post my whole entire life. I was a 6'4" fat, slow guy, and from a small town, so I was able to play the position. Like in Houston, there's no, I would have been a guard, right? Because like there's fucking, but the legend, the back to the basket is gone. Like that whole like dump it down to the big guy. Like that is now phased out. Every kid in the world, every person wants to shoot threes. That whole of like Hakeem played, how Shaq played, how they played. Even like Patrick Ewing, even Tim Duncan, almost like those guys. That area is gone. That traditional type big man. Now you have to stretch it out, shoot threes. Steph Curry killed the game. Like, I mean, he evolutionized the game, but also killed the game at the same time. Because now every kid wants to go. I coach my son's team. He's 13-year-olds. And they all want to go out here and just jack up 83s a game. Well, we don't. No. Not one of y'all can shoot it on a damn consistent, series. So
we're shooting like 5% from 3.
Yeah. But when they still want to jack, I'm like, just go by and shoot a layup. Just go by them and shoot a layup. But they just want to jack up threes. That's just
where I argue Hakeem would be. He could play in this era. Like he had that footwork. He can, you just have to post up. He can. He had a good. He
can just do the dream shake and throw just shoot a fadeaway. It's all game.
He would have to step back. I'm not disagreeing with you guys.
Like 30 points.
I would say so when he was in Shaq. So the problem with the Shaq and his comparison is like Shaq was still quite young, hadn't hit his prime when Hakeem was in his prime, and then when Shaq hit his prime, Hakeem was kind of out of his prime. And I would have really liked to seen their primes at each other because Shaq was one of the most dominant big man ever.
I mean, Shaq was in year 5 when he played Hakeem.
He still was young though. Hakeem had been playing for over a decade at that point.
You cannot be young and be like 300 pounds and like 7 feet tall. That's not young. Yeah. That's not young, my guy. Mentally, he's young.
That was his prime, Hakeem. That was his prime. He was 25.
But
I would call 27
5 years in the league. Like
his first years in the Lakers, that's when he hit his prime. I mean, me,
the difference was he had Kobe.
He had Penny.
Not that. Well, Penny wasn't healthy at that point. Like he was on and off. Like he was. I mean, it's another what if Penny stayed healthy? Like man, he would have been a game-changing player, but he was hurt. That's why Shaq left.
It would be a lot closer than people think. But Hakeem would be right up there.
I'm not taking anything away from Hakeem Olajuwon. I think Shaq is the most dominant big man of all time to me.
I mean, Hakeem shut him down in his prime.
They weren't even that. I wouldn't say that was his prime. That was his early years.
Again,
Hakeem had already been in the league for a decade.
He was 7 feet tall, 300 pounds. You ain't no kid.
You ain't no kid. He was in his prime. He was in his mid-20s. Like, he was in his physical prime. He was in his mid-20s.
Hey, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Hey, where can everybody find you guys at, and what do you guys got coming out this week?
So we're gonna do. So you can find us at JustFans22 on Twitter. Same thing for YouTube at JustFans22. TikTok at JustFans2022. We're also we started going on to Twitch. So Twitch, we don't use it that much until unless we go live. And that's also just at JustFans22. Honestly, and of course, Apple, Spotify, Good Pod, the regular stuff. So this week we have this Tuesday coming. We record every Tuesday, sometimes live, sometimes it's pre-recorded. Just depends on the occasion. So this week we're going to connect with a podcast that talks about the Lions and the Raiders and stuff like that. So it should be pretty cool. It should be pretty cool coming up. And so it's just kind of inter-promotional, like podcasting, which is great, I think, for both of us. And then the week after that, we got former original Houston Texan Seth Payne, who's a local Houston sportscaster here for our local sports radio. It's called Sports Radio 610. That's by the Texans or whatnot. So we're gonna have him on. We're gonna talk some Texans. He's very basically, the man has almost no filter, and he works for the Texans, which is great. And so he is, yeah. So we're gonna go off. Yeah, we're gonna go off on some stuff, and that guy is great. Like I'm a big fan of his, and it's always funny because to hear his voice, because he sounds like he almost reminds me of Joe from Family Guy when he talks, and he kind of looks like that too.
No.
Like, yeah, well, his voice when he talks on the radio, he's like, this guy, like Davis Mills, did not throw it, whatever. It's hilarious how he sounds.
This Davis Mills guy is terrible. Oh.
Yeah, terrible. And he's a great dude, Seth Payne. So we're gonna have him on, and so we're gonna have some good stuff. Kylie Wong is gonna be another Texans player that we're gonna have on. He played for the Vikings also, and and also for the Texans, and so that's going to be fun. So we got some stuff coming up, and we started doing a thing where one particular kid who was playing like running back in college, in the college team. He's like, "Hey, you mind if I come on and we can show some of my tape?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Still call it tape. Some of my videos, whatever, right? And so just to see some highlights, some highlights.
I got this floppy disk with all my highlights.
Yeah.
I copied over the Oregon Trail.
There you go. Oregon Trail. Oh my God, still to this day I still can't play. Anyway, so he's gonna show him some video and some video.
Barry Sanders.
Rios, we know you develop Oregon Trail. We get it. You were there with Steve Jobs.
It was based on his life.
Yes.
He died of dysentery.
Yeah, exactly. You were there with Steve Jobs when the whole computer thing started happening with Mac. Yeah, I get it. No, but nonetheless, like it's gonna be fun, and so we're gonna show some video of him, like his highlights. So that's gonna be fun, and hopefully, hey, somebody sees it. Maybe they like him. Maybe they'll take him in. Who knows?
We're trying to get JJ on, so if anybody wants, JJ, let him know.
Not after seeing,
we'd love to have him on.
Not after seeing this tonight. Nope. Those drunken idiots. No, never mind. I was just about to reply.
I'm not even drunk. I'm just upset that we
kissed
the number one pick away.
Oh,
yeah, I agree.
I'm very drunk. You know what?
Anyway.
Hey, well, boys, I appreciate y'all coming on. It's been a pleasure. I had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. Thank you for joining me. This has been another great episode of the BodkinShow. So please, folks, like, comment, subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend, hit the, follow the boys over there at We're Just Fans podcast as well for what they're putting out. You'll also find a lot of their stuff on Let's Talk Sports. So make sure you're subscribing there to Let's Talk Sports as well if you haven't already and just watching on the Bodkins channel. Appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow night, Bodkins and Buffoon with me and Tanner. So catch you tomorrow about 8:30 Central. I'm going to hit that outro, folks. It's been another great episode. This is Bodkins wishing you to have a great week. It's Martin Luther King Day tomorrow, folks. Enjoy the day off if you got it. We'll see you tomorrow night. Bodkins and Buffoon, 8:30. Hit that outro, baby.